Hi, this is Magnus with another chess game for you. I'm just an ordinary guy trying to improve his chess, and hopefully these games might help a few other people along the way. So today I was playing the black pieces. My opponent began with a king's pawn lead, and I decided to try the Scandinavian. So I advanced my queen's pawn, and he takes, and I take back. This is all pretty standard stuff for the Scandinavian. You always get chased by the knight. And there are a number of good squares to move to. This is one, this is another, and this is another. So in this game, I decided to move over to the extreme right. He brought a pawn out, and if you do make this move to this square, it's always as well to play this pawn out early, which gives your queen an escape route should you need it. So he brings another knight out, and I bring my bishop to the square I want it on, and he challenges my bishop, and I support it with a pawn. So this setup is what I like when I play the Scandinavian. Puts my bishop in a good place and opens the door for my other bishop. So he castles, and I bring my knight out, and he brings a bishop out to, well, he's not exactly pinning my knight, but he knows I'm going to castle, and often people do this with a view to messing up my pawn structure. So I defend my knight, and he brings his queen out, completing his development, and I castle. So he brings his knight over, and this looks like a really good spot for his knight. Look at how many squares it controls. So it's a great place for him to place his knight, supported of course by this pawn here. So I want to get rid of that, and I advance my pawn for that reason. He brings his queen over. You can see his forces are beginning to muster nicely around my king here. So I take his pawn, which removes the support for his knight, and he brings the knight. So at this point I decide to relieve some of the tension. I take his knight, and he takes back. Now, of course, at this point I often make this mistake, but this bishop is targeting this pawn here, and you know, if he takes it, then I've lost my rook. It's a mistake I've often made in the past. But on this occasion, I just decided to take his bishop, thereby threatening his queen. And if he were to take this pawn here, I would obviously take his queen. So he took the bishop, and that allowed me to take his bishop. And at this point, I'm a piece up. So I'm feeling quite happy with that. He brings his rook across to challenge my bishop, so I take this pawn here, and he moves a pawn out. I'm expecting him to advance this pawn to threaten my queen, but I take the opportunity to move this pawn. I like this arrangement very much. The pawn supports the bishop supports the pawn, and I'm thinking that in the endgame I've only got to advance this pawn 2 places to get a queen, so I'm thinking that could be quite useful to just leave it there. It can't be chased away by any pawns. He brings his rook out. At this point, I did think that he did it to threaten the pawn here. Lots of people at my level don't seem to realize at first that you can't take that pawn. So that's what I thought. But in fact, I brought my knight out to challenge his knight, and I'm intending to take this if he moves the rook. But as I say, I thought he'd brought the rook out to threaten the pawn. Maybe he did anyway. He got behind the queen, and of course this is a checkmate threat. So I took his knight with my queen. So thereby defending this pawn and saving the checkmate as well as winning a piece. So he retreated his queen, and at this point I saw the possibility of promoting this pawn here. At this point I'm thinking I could move the pawn up, maybe swing one of these rooks over and see what happens. So I moved my pawn up, and he challenged my queen, and at this point I saw the checkmate. I was very pleased with this, so I checked him with my queen. There's no way out of this. He has to take me with his rook, and of course I promoted my pawn to a queen, and that was checkmate. So it was a really pleasing checkmate. I really enjoyed the game. Scandinavian Defense strikes again. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed the game. I'll see you next time.